Black Lives Matter. Have I ever told you that? Have I ever told you that we were the first to sacrifice our lives for American independence? And that Crispus Attucks, a black man, was the very first to die? Have I ever told you that we have long been worldwide acclaimed poets and authors, like Zora Neale Hurston, Richard Wright, Langston Hughes, James Baldwin, Ralph Ellison, Maya Angelou, and Ta-Nehisi Coates? Have I ever told you that? Have I ever told you that we have never, ever accepted that Black lives don't matter? Not Frederick, Harriet, Marcus, Rosa, Malcolm, or Colin. They knew, and you must remember, that Black lives matter. Have I ever told you that W.E.B. knew that Black lives matter? That he preached about black equality and liberation and would be standing shoulder to shoulder with you today? Have I ever told you that? Have I ever told you that we turned folk music into jazz music in New Orleans and that Louis Armstrong revolutionized jazz? Have I ever told you that? Have I ever told you that we are acclaimed journalists? I should tell you about Gordon Parks, Clarence Page, Charlene Gunter Holt, and Gwen Ifill. Have I ever told you about our long history of brilliant singers, dancers, and musicians? I must have told you about Marian Anderson, Miles Davis, Aretha Franklin, Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Wonder, Misty Copeland, Beyonce, and Jay-Z. Haven't I? Black Lives Matter. Have I told you that we are champions? Jesse Owens and Joe Louis were champions. So were Jimmy Wingfield, Jackie Robinson, Athea Gibson, Jim Brown, Bill Russell, Muhammad Ali, and Florence Griffith Joyner. I have to catch my breath. Michael Jordan, Venus and Serena Williams, and LeBron James, just to name a few. Have I ever told you that? Have I ever told you that we are brilliant academics, lawyers, advocates, and judges? Have you heard of Henry Louis Gates Jr., Charles Hamilton Houston, and Thurgood Marshall? Oh yes, Black Lives Matter. I've told you that we are creative, but have I told you about Jacob Lawrence, Lorraine Hansberry, Paul Robeson, August Wilson, and Jean Michael Basquiat? Black Lives Matter. I at least must have told you that we are groundbreaking scientists and medical researchers. I must have told you about George Washington Carver, Charles Richard Drew, and Neil deGrasse Tyson, didn't I? Have I told you that we are statesmen and stateswomen like Adam Clayton Powell Jr., Shirley Chisholm, Barbara Jordan, Maxine Waters, Ayanna Pressley, Susan Rice, Ilhan Omar, and Barack and Michelle Obama? Have I ever told you that we have a long history of brilliant actors, producers, and directors? Have I told you about Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, Spike Lee, Angela Bassett, Cicely Tyson, and Denzel Washington? Have I ever told you that we are astronauts and explorers? I must have mentioned Mae Jemison. Their lives matter and your life matters. When you see what happened to Eric Garner, Tamir Rice, Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, Philando Castile, Reka Boyd, Ayanna Stanley Jones, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd, remember that Black Lives Matter. When you see things that don't reflect the proud history of our people, remember that Black Lives Matter. When you see things that don't reflect the amazing accomplishments of our people, remember that Black Lives Matter. You stand on the shoulders of giants, my wonderful child. You come from a tradition of excellence and resilience, music that spans generations, continents, and genres, literary masterpieces that transcend time. I see you, my wonderful child. I hear you. You are valued, We are valued. Your life matters, and Black Lives Matter. I love you, kiddo.